Hi, I'm Stacy Pingree, founder of Radiant Financial Group and the Legacy Wealth Podcast. Here is a spot where we talk about, what it takes to really build wealth that lasts. And today I have a guest, Dan Hobaica, who is going to just, I have so many great things to say about Dan that I don't know where to start, but I think the biggest standout to me is that he has had such incredible financial clarity. You really have, although you talk about other people giving, you have really great financial
Thanks.
clarity. He really understands that although he's in a very active, high earning, active income job, he understood passive income right from the start. And I think it's an advanced concept and mindset that not everybody can, I guess, embrace. So I want to start out by just saying, not to put you on like too much of a spot or on a pedestal here, but I do have you, we've been friends a long time now.
Yeah.
A decade?
I'd say over a decade.
Over a decade. We worked together a lot in different projects, even where I'm not involved as a lender.
You're a mentor, you're a friend.
Yeah, I just love our relationship.
There's always a platform to be able to run ideas off of each other and talk about things.
I love it. I just love it. So I want to let you talk. You are a big heavy hitter in corporate America, in sales position, high earning, and very successful there, but that has never slowed you down in again looking for opportunities to make your money move twice and keep it moving. So I want to just hear your story. Can you tell everybody how you got started in the real estate, the legacy wealth building journey? Because obviously it's not all real estate, but I know largely.
I'm happy to be here. This is so fun. Your team's awesome. It's really cool to kind of see this come full circle, to be able to be here and tell this story with how long we've known each other.
This is the coolest thing ever.
It's awesome. And everything you do is just top notch. So thanks for letting me be here.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm thinking I was driving over here because what was cool about this, there was no agenda outside of telling your story, which I think is really cool, but it goes back to your upbringing and the principles that you were taught as a kid and those foundational things. And I know you have kids and I have 4 of my own, and I think about that a lot. I think about opportunities to give them where they're going to get grit, where they're going to, learn about work ethic, learn about the importance of relationships and communication, and whatever those trials and tribulations are in life. I definitely had my fair share. I was raised in a good way, but I had a great mom and dad, still married today, 2 younger brothers. And from the very beginning, I think mom and dad, but I was the kid selling the most chocolates. I was the kid, selling baseball cards. I had small businesses. My brother and I had a landscaping company when we were 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And I raised enough money to buy my first car because I had to buy my first car. That was a memory that really stuck with me. It was buying a Mustang in high school and driving up in this really cool car. I think I saved like $7,000 and I got to buy this car when I got my license. So there were these opportunities in life, partially because of my family, partially because I knew the importance of the people that were in my circle that I wanted to be more like. Like I always want to emulate people that I look up to, and those people were successful in their own way. But I had this entrepreneur lifestyle mentality from the very beginning. Yeah. And my family, I grew up in the air conditioning industry. My dad took over his father's business. It was started in 1952. So grew up in the AC business and family run. So, that's another thing, growing up in the business, seeing my dad work and work long hours and put in the time, but still make time to be coach and still make time to, be there for me. And I don't have memories of him being gone. I have memories of him being present.
That's awesome.
And he had this and mom too, they had this way of making the difficult seem easy. And that's something that I try to do now too, because we have a lot on our plate, but they're all things that I've wanted to bring on my plate. These are things I've said yes to. And I think about a lot about how to plan and how to execute to make sure if I bring this thing into my life that we're prepared for that.
Yeah.
But so entrepreneur, hard worker, very competitive, plenty of stories there, but played sports, competed in all aspects of life in a good way. And I'm learning how to be friendly now. I don't, with my kids, there's a lot there, but out of school, I got right into sales, and I didn't know it was going to be my career. It's turned into a really, really special thing. But I started in software sales right out of school. I went door to door. Man, what a good experience for me, learning how to talk to people and handle objections and build a brand from scratch. And it was important for me, and it still is today, to build my own brand. I had an option of going into the family business and looking at these things, and I decided to kind of start my own thing. And I think that was a really pivotal point in my career, in my life, that allowed me to really flourish and do my own thing. And I'm really proud of that. And then, we could talk about all the things, but, the journey started and I realized that, gosh, the power of relationships, the power of hard work. And I think now more than ever, I don't know if people work as hard as they used to. And I think that gives opportunities for people that do work hard and do apply themselves to really flourish in life. And I'm trying to teach that to my kids. But over the last, I'd say 18 years now, I've been in a W-2 job. My beautiful wife, Laura, has been at her job for 18 years. Yeah. She's just built an amazing brand at her company. And we've been building stuff along the way. We talk about the real estate and stuff. But I know as I continue on, it was very important for me early on, to answer your question, to find and learn about passive things I can do to earn extra income and live the lifestyle I always dreamed of. Yeah. I got my real estate license when I was 20. And, the rest is history. But I saw my dad and my mom and dad emulate real estate. They bought homes. I remember one quick story when I was in my second year in software sales. I was making six-figure income. It was crazy. And, at the time you could buy, Stacy, you could buy homes for $150,000 at 3% interest rate. Like, this is pretty great. So I remember the conversation with my mom and dad, and he said, hey, you got, $15,000, go buy a home. And I got my license and I bought the home, and that's transitioned into the real estate, little business that we have now. Yeah. But yeah.
I mean, getting started, having the right mentors, I think in the early stages, people it seems like there's two kinds of stories, right? There's either a really great example story, or there's like we lost everything story. And so then I didn't want to live that. And I love the ones where the people are still married, your folks are still married. And actually built a successful company. I didn't realize I was kind of like blown away that I didn't realize it was your grandfather that started
1952.
Yeah, that's really cool. So
Dad
talk about
took
legacy.
It over in the 80s. Yeah. Third generation.
Yeah. So,
really cool.
but to be able to build that company, that is an asset, right? Yeah. Like, so you're pouring into either your company as an asset, which can be, if structured properly, and whatever can become a great passive income source, or just an asset that can be sold and move somewhere else, that money can be moved somewhere else. But I think what you guys have done uniquely is, well, obviously we had some really, really well-aligned ideas, just the way we talked about. I think, we were not scared to sacrifice whatever it took today. Yeah. So high earning, still making money, but we were like, we're going to invest, we're going to put it in the right spots. Mm-hmm. And you guys just said the same thing. What do we do? How do we do that? Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget lunch or breakfast at like Le Grand Orange with Laura said to me, so what am I going to need to have $10,000 a month in passive income?
I remember that.
And I was like, well, you're going to need 5 properties paid off. Right? It was a really simple, kind of a simple equation.
Totally.
Something like that. the numbers can be a little bit varied, but
how do we get there?
How do we get there? And it was just that, to me, like being able to say, here's just a number. And of course the numbers grow as your lifestyle grows and whatever. But I think that's really a cool part of the story. But how did you do it? How did you do it? You started out, take us through, because you've had.
I will. Yeah. There's a book, one of my favorites is The Power of the Subconscious Mind. And I know we're all avid readers in our own way, or we listen, we consume, whatever. That book is all about, thoughts give rise to action. And if you put things and energy out there, it'll come full circle. And Laura and I are epitome of that. Like we dreamed about the home in Arcadia. We dreamed about the cul-de-sac home. We dreamed about, the school our kids go to. We dreamed about having properties and having passive income and doing well at work. And we dreamed about having a family. We have it all now. Yeah. So I encourage everyone, one of the things we live by is, share goals with your friends. Talk about the ambitions that you want. Set big, lofty goals. Put yourself in positions of pressure, and allow yourself to perform and believe in yourself. So we've always believed in that. And I've been a believer since the beginning. And Laura and I have had conversations. It's like, God, things are going pretty well right now. Something's going to break. Something's going to bust. I'm like, no, everything's fine. Nothing's going to break. We're okay. We're leveraged. We're not over leveraged. Yeah. Yeah. But it's like, God, things are really clicking right now. And I think it's a testament to the circle, and you are a big part of it. The network that you have, the people in your, all these cliche things. One of them is, never be the smartest person in the room. I've never been the smartest person in the room, but I'm a hard worker. Yeah. And I think you guys are too. That's what we
feel too. I mean, we're
100%. So I've this W-2 thing and this journey. I've been in software sales, HR software sales my entire career. I've been at 2 companies, ADP and UKG, and they've both been amazing. And I've been able to put myself in a position to constantly be, and it's hard, as you know, you got to start over every year to be a top performer. And that's allowed me to generate wealth. And on the other side, Laura has built up an amazing brand at her company at SRP that has allowed her to continue to rise above and work her way up in the ranks. And she's done extremely well. So we have this position where we're both working really hard. And we've built out our family. We now have 4 kiddos, and our family's complete. No more kids. Shop is closed.
We're sure about that. We
Know
that
yeah.
now.
We did the thing. We're good. Our youngest guy, Harrison, is perfect. It's amazing.
They're beautiful, all of them.
They're so fun. You got to see a couple of them a little bit ago.
Yeah, incredible.
And so
you do make it look easy, by the way. You guys still make it look easy. I mean, I meet you for lunch, and she's breastfeeding, and we're juggling the kids, and I mean, come on, but you do make it look easy.
And like that's an amazing compliment. And I think of your home. I think of this situation that we're in. Making it look easy is the hardest thing to do because there's a lot of things that you have to do to make it look easy, and not everyone's willing to put in that work, right? So back to the real estate and business and that we bought our first home in Scottsdale, and my dad's a handyman more than I am, and we remodeled that, and we're like, oh, the Airbnb thing was taking off, 15, 16, 17 years ago? I think maybe more than that, but it was a newer concept, and we turned that into a long-term rental and then a short-term rental. We're like, gosh, this is pretty good, and these do better than long-term rentals. And financing at the time, as you know, because you helped me with all of our homes, was really, really attractive. So we saved up, bought another home in Tempe. And then we had this dream of living in, we were just talking about it with your producer, your team, about living in Arcadia.
Yeah.
And you know all about it, and we've talked all about it. And I set this dream, and gosh, I can remember to this day, we bought on the right side of the canal, and you remember the home. It had a swing in the front. I was like, I had a little, like, outside of my window, I had this little, like, picture of Camelback Mountain. I could see, like, a little sliver. I was like, we made it. Like, we made it. We did it. We're good. Not mic dropped. We're good. Yeah. We're in the neighborhood. Wow. And I remember I leveraged everything. Yeah. It was very scary. I took a 401k loan out. I put all of my money into the home. I think we bought it for like $650, which back then, no one was buying homes for $650 at our age. And like everyone was like, you sure? You sure? And I was like, I think this feels right. And that whole, I think this feels right, has kind of been my theme for all the investments we've done. And you and I have even talked about it, and knock on wood, they've all done well. So up and down, but we've done well, and we trust our gut, and we look at the numbers. But that home happened, and unfortunately, we had to sell that, and there was a reason for that. But we did the 2-year cap gains rule. There was that, and we did that, and then we did that with another home in Arcadia Light, which for those that live in Arizona, they know what that is, and that was a fix and flip. And we had this outlandish idea that, gosh, we had that home, we loved it, but there's this dream of having an acre and being in a cul-de-sac. And Laura, as you know,
in Arcadia, which is like
in Arcadia. And I was like, you can't find those. And like, there's no cul-de-sacs. And Stacy knows. You look, and there's 10 little pockets in Arcadia that in lower PV that have that those metrics. And Laura is a hunter. And if she was on here, she would tell you, and she's found all of our homes. She's always on Zillow, and
she has come on a separate show.
She has to. She's got a great story. And she found this home, and we live there now. We lived there for 5 years. We have the cul-de-sac acre, and it's beautiful. And we're so happy and so proud of it. And we've been able to build that into our home. We had to use the sale of our other 2 homes for that home. And that was a huge purchase for us at the time. And that was, I think, $1.5 million. And, creatively I didn't talk about, but all the homes we bought, I've used my license. Yeah. So, you get to take advantage. I'm looking for every opportunity I can to try to offset the cost and find ways to find my way in to, find that. And
negotiation skills are
all of that, negotiation skills. And I remember the story with the home we're in, we're a forever home. I met the agent at the house, and I got to the number without getting to the number, and she was kind of working with me and also representing. So we had to kind of work that together. But that relationship and that instant connection with the agent, I think, put us in a position where we were able to get the home. And then with your help and everyone else's help, we got it. During that time, we were building our Airbnb business, and we bought a home in Cottonwood, a two-bed home. And remember that construction loan, Stacy, that we did? I'm surprised you still take my calls.
Yeah, that was a challenging, the whole thing.
And just the creativeness that you brought and I brought, like we were like, how can we do this? How can we finance a construction loan? And that allowed me to come out with less out of pocket costs. Yep. Now the home's worth more and doing really well. And then we bought a home in Flagstaff. And going back to our high income W-2 jobs, we have discretionary spending. And while we do go on great vacations and we do, take care of ourselves and try to, we're not lavish, but like we're proud of ourselves, and, we'll go on nice things and buy nice things, but we save to our next home. So every year or two we'll buy another home. So we bought in Flagstaff right at the start of COVID. Yep. And that cabin, I dreamed about having a cabin in Flagstaff. It's a Lincoln log cabin. It's on 5 acres. It's beautiful.
Well, and I need to interject.
It's so cool.
I need to interject this. Like your family, the alignment, the one of the greatast aspects of you and Laura will have her own. There's plenty to talk about to have Laura on her own as a guest on her own. And you're both individually, together talk about a powerhouse, power couple, right? Yep. But I think the knack for you guys, what a niche in the fact that you bought the homes aligned with where your family wants to spend time, where we want to go, what we want to do. It's just, you've kept in alignment. Mm-hmm. And then she's got this, I know it's both of you, but she's got an amazing design element.
Awesome.
And I think she knows she's a super host, right? She's just going
on all of them.
She's on every single property. Yep. She's not going to let anything, again, hard work ethic, a level of how she would want to be treated in a place and how she would want to feel. That's what you feel when you walk into your Airbnbs.
Thank you. Yeah. And our latest one is Sedona, and I'm so proud of that. And I don't know, I pinched myself, and we were able to work on some creative financing for that, and it's amazing. But it is pretty amazing. You have the brokerage, have the guy that manages the vendors and, does the utilities, and I manage the finances. And then Laura brings this amazing eye and can make the home look beautiful and create the home that people want to come to. Yeah. So we did lean into our strengths, and we both have to bring something to the table, and we count on each other. And I wouldn't want to count on anyone other than Laura. Yeah. We're a great team. Yeah. And there are days where she's like, you know what, screw it, Dan, I want to sell all our properties. I'm like, honey, I know that guest wasn't nice, but these properties do well. Yeah. And that somewhat passive, and Laura would argue they're not passive, and they're not, because we have to create a great experience for our hosts. But that model has been really well for us, and it's allowed us in very busy lives with our kids, with high-income W-2 jobs that consume a lot of our time, to bring in other aspects that allow us to live the life we always dreamed of. And it's been an amazing ride.
Yeah, it's just, I kind of feel like, in a way, like, it's not to sound like we're tired, exhausted with just getting here, but I feel like there's a whole like energizing part of this next level, and some private funding and maybe some commercial now, and next level stuff that I'm really excited about. And I know you guys are in for the journey, so
yeah,
that's exciting too.
I think of my journey, and I think of yours, and it's been amazing to see how, because I've known you, not in the very beginning, but I got to see you build Radiant. I got to see you build, all of your practices, and now your new opportunity that you're doing in Litchfield Park. Every single one of those was scary. Every single one of those took bravery and guts, and it took you to do things and create. You had to risk a lot, and it was managed risk, but what you did took risk and took guts. And every time we accomplish something, it's like, gosh, I just did that. That was big. I didn't know I could do that. Well, what's next? So we have that itch of what's next, and I have to be careful with that itch. I know,
me too.
Because I want to bring things in that I know I can say yes to, and I know I can commit to, and I get asked for whatever the opportunities are, personally or professionally, to say yes. And you and I have talked about saying no when you're supposed to say no, but then doubling down on the things that, you should say yes to, that, you may be afraid of, or but you can do. And I think of the kids, I think of, people in my life. I want to be a good example to say, take risks in life and do things that you're passionate about. And it's amazing what you can accomplish if you apply yourself.
And I know how much opportunity you guys get hit with, because it's very rare that I can talk to, if I'm in the circles of first of all, anybody that I talk, most people I talk to will say, if I'm mentioning somebody that I work with in real estate that has done things and he still has a full-time job, they almost know who I'm talking about. You are so well connected in this valley. It's like I don't even have to say your name. I was joking with you
Thanks, Stacy.
earlier about your network is your net worth, was saying that, but that is like literally, I mean, for all the things that you've done and accomplished, and your competitiveness and your sales skills and your negotiation skills, and I know all those things are, I mean, you're top of the game. But really, you are a networker. You know everybody. You're connected,
Man.
and you so many times. I feel like putting together the right team. You'll just call me and say like, "Hey, Stacy, I just want you to meet. I just got to call this person and talk to this person, have this conversation."
Ashley.
Yeah, yes. I mean,
So cool.
a coach that I've used to help do
So
some really
cool.
advanced things. Yeah, with our company, you just said, "Yeah, I just think you need to meet Ashley." It's just incredible. So I've learned a lot from you, I guess, is what I'm going to say here. I've learned a lot
Thanks.
from you, and just how important, I was always in sales and in networking, but you get in your head down in your business, and you get sort of kind of caught in your own little space.
Yeah.
And you just remind me like, hey, be looking up, be talking to people, be making those connections.
Yeah, I think I think people crave being genuine and being real and authentic. And if you can find people that that are also genuine, authentic, like you have to invest in that relationship. Like those are the people that I know you crave and I crave.
Yeah.
I go back to like my W-2 job, and it's a very time-consuming position, and it takes a lot to source an opportunity and find that opportunity, turn it into a real opportunity, and then close it. Yeah. And I knew that the prospecting and building that brand that way was going to eventually burn out.
Yeah.
And I also love people. Never eat alone, right? Coffees, lunches. Like if I can, and then COVID, like you worked from home, and that was hard for people like us, and think about these kids in college and your daughters, and so it was a combination of I knew I could work smarter and harder if I had great relationships, and I really, really do enjoy seeing other people flourish through connections. Like it's one of my favorite things, and I think it's the trick, but also the right thing to do. And it feels really good. If you lead in with authenticity and you lead in with how I can help, and you're the first person to help and provide value, gosh, there's a great relationship on the other side versus I think a lot of people, especially early in their career, and I think I did it too, what's in it for me?
Yeah.
How do I get something out of this relationship? Yeah. And I think if you can come in and you genuinely, authentically want to try to help that person, and that person on the other side is going to, also put in and they have a good brand. I want to find the 1%ers. I want to find the people that are also operating that way. And if you can lean in early and you can trust early, and give that person the opportunity to also be a part of it, I enjoy it that way. And I love relationships. I feed off of other people. I have a story at work. I don't know, it was maybe year 2 of the company I'm at now, and someone from another state called me the mayor of Arizona. And I was like,
I second that.
Whatever that brand is, I don't know, whatever it is, it's working. So, but I hope it's a good one, and I want to, fill other people's cups, and if we're going to build good businesses, let's do it with each other. Let's rise each other up when we do it.
Well, this whole podcast, I'm sitting here. I was in my mind as you're just saying that. I'm like laughing because I'm definitely gonna play this for my whole team, because mindset is so hard to teach, right? I feel like I have a Monday morning mindset call, and I do a message for every single Monday. I'm super consistent about it. It's what if you're on my Wealth Builders emails and you get those too, I message out, about energy and positive. You said you put energy out into the world and it comes back,
Yes.
These are all the kind of, but it's, people get caught up in their little, whatever's going on, and they lose sight of it's hard to get back on track unless somebody's really supporting you in that, and pushing you. And I think having a wife, having a relationship that is, you guys both focus on the same things. I know with Jason and I had the same thing.
Totally.
But
Yep.
Your people, and your, the result of the result of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? So
Yep.
We know that too. I mean, they're all those things are not, Zig Ziglar didn't just come up with those because he.
They're all still relevant today.
Yeah, exactly. Jim Rohn and all.
And like being vulnerable and allowing people to come in. That's always hard.
Yep.
We have these things, and maybe we've been relationships that tarnish us in the past. We're bringing some, some negative energy from a past relationship. Like you have to leave those at the door. And I think you have to be open to allowing other people to help you grow and prosper together. Like, let's do this together. Yeah. And the most successful relationships are done together. And at work, I have to leverage and lean on a lot of people to look good. It's not about me. It's about everyone else in the room that helps me look good. And that's a real thing. Yeah. It really is a real thing. So I've the
politics of corporate America.
I've understood that, whether you like it or not, there's politics in every aspect of life. And I know the importance of, and I think I value relationships, and I know other people can help rise one another up. And I look for people like that also want to do that.
I think going back to your what you guys have built in the short-term rentals, there was a time where, well, it's really sort of been a pivot off of short-term rentals here, like the last year and a half. And I think part of that's the cities were, the HOAs were creating restrictions and things like that. But you guys have really, you've done really well. I just would love for people to hear, what makes it successful? What makes a successful short-term rental? Because I think you have mastered it. We don't do them. So
we've talked a lot about that. Like why or how, or I think it's, it's not new anymore. Remember the Super Bowl that came here? Everyone in Old Town Scottsdale wanted to turn their home into an STR. That wasn't successful. You may rent it out for a couple of weeks, but you're not building something that people, it's not a long-term thing. Yeah. So where my mind goes is if regardless of the STR, if you're building a widget, if you're building a podcast, if you're building a business, and you want to be the best, you have to go in with understanding what your differentiators are and how you can be, recession proof, or how you can continue to find ways to generate revenue when other people aren't. Yep. And I think of the STRs, and every home we've bought has a really good story to tell, whether it's the location and proximity to the main square, or it's on 5 acres and 8 minutes from downtown, Flagstaff, or Sedona home is Creekside. It's a half a mile from Tlaquepaque. It's got the best views that I've seen on an Airbnb.
Right.
So we if we're going to get in that space, we're going to build something, and it requires more capital. It's a nicer home. It's a higher end home. So we try to find higher end properties that still have, some bang for our buck. So every home we buy, we're remodeling, right? The Sedona home, the Flagstaff home, the Cottonwood home was a big remodel, as you know. So we try to find location that we know we can tell a good story with. That, when Stacy's at home and she's talking to her husband about going to Flagstaff for the weekend, and she sees our home, like that's the home she's going to want to book. Yeah. So we try to create a more compelling argument and stay through the pictures, the high-end pictures. We did a really cool drone and marketing video for Sedona, and now VRBO allows you to upload videos, and not every property has that. Yeah. So we try to create something that is different, unique, and a leg up, and I think all of our homes embody that, and that's allowed us to have definitely higher than average occupancy rate. Like, it's always rented. It's hard to rent. I know sometimes, like, hey, Dan, like, hey, can we stay at your property? It's like, it's not available, Stacy.
It's been a lot.
It's hard to get. It's hard to get.
I'm like, I think I'm going to, like, on a whim call you, but
it's hard. And we have friends that do that too, which is like, it's a compliment that they reach out, but the home books out, and that's really cool. And Laura's whole thing, with Flagstaff, like, I love going up there. I love going up north. I love the woods. I love getting away. It's like, you can't go up there. The home's rented out. I'm like, Lonnie, will you let me stay there for a weekend? Like, I have to ask her or send in a request to stay at my own Airbnb, because we're so, excited about that business opportunity, right? And all of these homes, as you know, at the high income, with W-2, for the folks that are listening, all of us are looking for ways to offset our income. Yeah. All of us are looking for ways to, like, find tax strategies. And I've been talking to Stacy about it forever, and asking my CPA, and now ChatGPT, and asking my network. Cost segregation studies is a great way to do it. Yep. So all of my homes have the cost seg study. We can accelerate depreciation when the homes are doing well. And, the homes have the LLC, and, they have the ways to, you have all of the benefits that come with the real estate for folks like us incentivize me even more. Yep. But to answer your question, long-winded, I think our homes are more compelling than the average home.
Yeah. The appeal is incredible.
I think so.
Yeah. I do too. And again, that's that unique combination of you guys being just really aligned, and how you
Laura's style.
Yeah. You have a taste and a style that I think it feels luxury. Feels luxury, and so people want to stay there. It might be their opportunity to be in that.
Those relationships too. It's hard to find people when you're buying, and, couples that are listening that want to buy in a different state, one of the hard parts is like finding people that you trust.
Yeah.
Our landscapers, our handymen, our cleaners, like we take really good care of them.
Yeah.
We really do. I'm thinking about Christmas. We always give them a bonus,
Yeah.
right? I always give them extra. I just try to find little things that I think go above and beyond that I don't think everyone else is doing for their handyman, right? So you got to take care of your franchise. You got to take care of your people. My handyman in Flagstaff is going out of his way to meet me in 2 weeks and taking a day off of a project just to help me with some beds, because we're little things like that.
Yeah.
So if you can build great relationships with whatever your franchise is, and people can depend on you and you can depend on them, that's going to make everything a little bit easier. Because what's scary about these Airbnbs is all of the upkeep, all of the people. And if you don't have good people to help you make you look good, you can't do it.
It's really
it's
like
impossible.
It is. And it's like long-term, it's just like long-term buy and holds with not having a good property management company.
Totally.
Right? You say
And
the
I know
same
you know
thing.
everything about that.
Yeah. I mean, so it's, that's one of the reasons we don't venture far out of state on
Same.
I mean, you guys have put the network in place across Flagstaff and Sedona, coming all the way down. But really, if worse came to worse, you can get your own guy up there from here if you had to for something. It's like, but out of state's a tough one.
It is hard, yeah. And we've stuck in Arizona. We've dabbled with, and I know we've talked to you about California and our dream about having a place in Corona del Mar, like Newport area, which is the dream.
Yeah.
It's hard to do business there, and I don't think we're ready. But we're constantly thinking about it and talking about it, which what'll happen. Eventually, we're going to buy one.
I know. The right
So it's just a matter of time, right?
My daughter just accepted at USD, so
That's
we'll
so
be in San
cool.
Diego. Yeah,
So cool.
we're going to be there.
That's so cool.
That's going to be fun. We're going to move our boat around. So we're going to have that in the harbor at Sheridan. So I'm like, now we have a place to stay right there. So
Oh my gosh.
we'll be talking about that.
Wow. Real estate in San Diego.
This is the stuff too, like everything that we're talking about, I want to hear from you. We're getting close to wrapping up, but I really want to take a moment for you to explain, obviously coming off of a legacy family business from your dad, what does it mean, what you guys are building right now? What does it mean for you and your family? Like, how do you, obviously you have four kids, beautiful. They're going to see hard work ethic, but what do you, how do you look at this legacy that you're building?
Well, it takes opportunities like this for me to maybe take a second and think about it, because we run so fast.
Yep.
But I think about, I don't know, we were talking about, and I'm not dying anytime soon, but I think about who's going to be at your funeral. What are they going to say? Mm-hmm. It's important for me because of the impact that I had growing up, and having mentors and having people to look up to, they can play a pivotal role, good or bad. And I want to be that good example for my kids. And we have 4 of them, and we want to raise good humans. Yeah. So, I say this, I don't care what I'm doing. I'm in software. It is what it is. I didn't know I was going to be doing this for my career, but it's turned into a great job where I can coach my kids. I can take off Fridays if I want to. I have a lot of flexibility. That's really all I want. Yeah. But there is this big why, and we all need to have a why. You don't need to have kids to have a why, but that's a big one for me. My daughter's like, "You're the best salesman in the world," and she doesn't know what that means right now. But I'm like, "Hey, keep it coming." Words of affirmation is my love language. But I want to do well by them. I know the importance of the father role, and my wife for her role as mom. There's all of those cliche things of I want to leave this world in a better place. I want to make my little impact in the world. My dad always tells me, when I was a kid, he always said, back to the positive, the power of the subconscious mind, you're going to do amazing things in this world. So I talk to my kids like that too. And I think if you're bold and brave and you set big goals and you surround yourself with the right people and you take some risk, really good things can happen. So, I have my why because of my kids, my family. I enjoy, having wins and creating opportunities where you can be successful, and that keeps me engaged and keeps me going. But it all goes back to, the brand that you're leaving. And Laura says this a lot. It's not what you do or how you do it. It's how you make other people feel. And I'm trying to embody that more. Yeah. But I want to be a good example, and work ethic and the way you treat other people. I think you can do a lot in this world if you embrace some of those just core principles. So.
Oh man, that was so good.
I don't know.
So good.
That's a lot, but
I love it.
thanks,
We
Stace.
we talk about this like legacy. I don't. The last thing I wanted for this legacy wealth, and it's still developing in itself, like what this is, and
Yeah.
kind of it continues to sort of take shape.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I said, I don't want this to legacy to me is not like what I'm going to leave behind. It's like what I'm gonna. It's the process of what I'm going to leave within, right? So, that's almost. I love the way Laura says it too, that it's how you make someone feel. But I think watching you, like people say, oh, you make it look easy. Okay. But I mean, if you join me in the process, you'll see it's not all,
It's not all unicorns and rainbows.
no, it's not all unicorns and rainbows.
It's not. And not everyone's willing to do the work.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, I love where you guys are going, and I can't wait to see, opportunities that are going to come up. I mean, I feel like sky's the limit.
Gosh. Like we're at that point where I don't really know what's next. But I am talking to you and talking to my network about things, and it's going to be intentional.
Yeah.
It's going to be lifting people up in my community. I think, well, we all know what our pros and cons are, or our strengths and weaknesses. Like you double down on your strengths, but you're aware what your weaknesses are. Like I'm going to lean into my strengths and what I think I've built and continue on that plan. But I think there's going to be an opportunity that comes knocking that I'm not ready for. And I'm ready to kind of lean into whatever that is. But in the meantime, I think I just turned 39. Laura is very close behind me. We have these dreams of, we've spent a lot of time talking about 50 and retirement. I'm not going to retire, but putting myself in a position where we can do that. And I think eventually we're going to get there, and we're going to be doing things professionally that allow us to be even more flexible than we already are. And I want to have fun while I'm here, because I don't know what's next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
I can't thank you enough. We're basically, it goes so fast, doesn't it?
That's it. Wow. Yeah. Was it 40 minutes?
Yeah, 40 minutes.
40 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we're at that point. So I want to thank you for being here.
Of course.
I would love we're going to actually link the short-term rentals, especially the Sedona. I want to highlight a couple of these properties on the show notes. So you can check please check the show notes below for where we'll find Dan's and Laura's incredible getaways. I guess we'll just call them getaways because they're close enough. You can just zip out of here, but you have to book in advance because they are booked up.
Yeah, we'll book you off app. We'll give you the Stacy Pingree discount.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you,
and
Stacy.
all of you. And again, if you really loved what you heard here today, please share. This one is a good one because of that. That was pretty much across. That's not even specific just to real estate, I think, mindset. So thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Stacy. Thanks, guys.